Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. Tracy here, and I'm going to give you an update on the Yarnavan. So I'm just going to pause it for a sec until we get inside. I'm back, and typically, as you can see, it's bright sunshine outside. It was pouring down with rain only a little while ago, so everything's wet out there. You might be able to see the rain on the windows, and a sticker on the window that won't come off. Anyway, so I've tidied up a little bit, but I've still got a way to go on it. So over there you can see that's my knitting needles are in the pot. I've got my cups, my coffee maker. I've got a couple of kettles that are camping kettles, but I'm going to try and find something that's cheap to run. Not that I really have many drinks out here, but you know, sometimes when I'm out here for any length of time, I do. But I've got my mandalas in these windows, and Julie, I know I need to send you the sizes, which I keep forgetting. So I'm going to make this chair. I'm going to pimp this chair so it looks pretty, but I'm going to cover those cushions and put new tie backs on them. These are my little heaters that are now up and running because Martin, that's Gary's brother, put my plug sockets up high for me. All this stuff might not stay here. Some will, some won't. But over in this corner, that's my problem area at the moment. One of them, to be honest with you. But all those boxes, they've got things like tape measures and things like that in there. But I now have new storage, kind of. I'll show you in a minute. So all those things are in there. That's just drawers with pads, to-do list pads and stuff. That, believe it or not, with that kitchen roll on it and a fly spray, is actually a lot of crafting stuff. There's fabric glues and paints to do my ornaments and stuff like that, garden ornaments. And we have the little kettle there. And in these drawers, I've got all my crochet hook sets and stuff like that. So now, as you know, I was out here last week labelling the boxes, and some of them don't have labels, like these three. They don't have labels on. There's actually 4 or 5 now boxes that contain a mixture of boho spirit and Stylecraft cabaret, and they're all mixed up. So I've got to go through them and make one that I think that one is just cabaret, but these two have got both in, and the other one up there is all boho, and I think it's a big one, so I can have a big and a small of each, because I think I've got too much cabaret for one and I've got too much boho for one, so they'll both have a big and a small, but all the rest have got their labels on. But this one down here, it's t-shirt yarn, and I've got a big cardboard box with lots and lots of t-shirt yarn in, which I'm going to make into the yarn of the week and discount that quite heftily, because I want to try, as it's spring, people want to make stuff, so I want to try and knock out as much of the t-shirt yarn. So I need to do a stock take on it and get it as yarn of the week. And move it into something, because those boxes, when they've got those big t-shirt yarns in, they're just too heavy for me, and they're just too heavy for anyone, really. Even Gary, we've got a cardboard box full of them down there, and he couldn't really. We have to just push it around with our feet. So this is one of my hobby boxes. It does need a lot of sorting out, but in there are things I couldn't bear to throw away that might come in handy, that would line a bag, or you know, that kind of stuff. Now up there I've got a box that says scissors, and these cases I got a little while ago, and these were the ones that I was talking about the other day. I've got a teal one and 2 purple. I might make them into accessory kits, and if that goes down well, get some more. In that black box there's lots and lots of recording equipment, like this thing I'm holding, and microphones and things like that for when I go out and about. That Gemma got me, and I don't really know why it's out here, because I don't watch videos out here, but it's one of those that you can watch your pad on, you know. So in this big cardboard box next to the hobby machine here, I said machine. Of course I meant machine. Did I say machine? I don't know what I'm talking about. Sewing machine. This box contains Flutterby, James C. Brett Flutterby. I love that yarn so much, but it's all in there waiting to go in some boxes. Now I do have some new boxes, which I'm all excited about. Really, I know, how can you get excited about these boxes? But here they are. They're small, and the beauty of them is they fit above the top layer of my boxes up here. So obviously all this stuff I can actually, or what I've got more of, I can put in another little box on top, because there's enough clearance to do that, which is fantastic. I'm really, really hyped up. Do I look it? Do I see me? Rather, you can't see me. So underneath the desk is a bit of congestion at the moment. Well, that's not new for me, I know, but I've got my little drawers there, and they are not really fit for purpose. At the moment, they just contain stuff and things like material that I got for the sewing machine and stuff like that, and free patterns that I got. But I was going to send these free patterns out with people's orders, but I never know if they can knit or not. Most of them are knitting. So I can't, if someone orders something to do with knitting, I'll buy a few in, but it's the only time I can really do it. So under there is a chest of drawers that's got little heart shapes. You can just about make out a little, there it is. And it's got my drinks in it, like cans of Coke and stuff like that. Under the cabinets, I've got, this is all my packaging stuff and my stickers, and everything lives there for when I box up an order. And there is more yarn under there. So underneath this one, I've got my water for making tea, some spare lids, and more yarn. That's yarn, and all of this is yarn. But I've got a bit of wasted space there because I need to move this hobby rack. Now, this hobby rack doesn't move as freely as it used to. It used to slide in and out lovely, those drawers. And for some reason, it's not. So I need Gary to give it a bit of attention. And once that's up and running, I can kind of use that. This is just a big bag of toiletries. Seriously needs sorting out. Up here, I've got a stereo. That's just lids for my new boxes. But I've got this was my stereo when I was working. Used to wake me up in the morning. It's a little Yamaha. It's got brilliant sound. Not set up out here yet, but it might do one of these days. And this is all just yarn that is over and above going in those boxes. Apart from that, which is mine, obviously. But this side, there is another one of those drawer units with the freebie patterns in, but it's a bit hidden at the moment. Now, all this is just stationery stuff that I need to find home for. Oh, but this is a Captain Picard costume. Well, a top for a fancy dress, which just got unearthed. Because all of the stuff that would normally be in a loft found its way, obviously, in here. So those two boxes, that one's got Christmas stuff in, that top one. And that one, oh, I don't know, just needs sorting out and clearing out, and I can use them for yarn, which is no bad thing. This is an artist's easel thing. I used to use it for crocheting, believe it or not, because there's nothing worse than when you're sewing something up and you have to keep bending. So I put it up that, because it's like a slant, and then I can sit there without bending my neck, getting a stiff neck, and do my sewing up, which just, you know. So that's what I mean about these yarn boxes. That one doesn't fit because it's got this thing behind it, but normally you can push them right back. These ones here Gary gave me, and they're ultra long, so they stick out, but the others don't. But it'll be handy because I've got too much yarn to go in that box, so I can put it in the one above, if you know what I mean. Fill it up that way. So then you got a box of my stuff. Look at those shoes, aren't they divine? And also there's some jewellery and Swarovski, I can't say it, Swarovski stuff in there. And some packing cases which have clothing in. And this is the t-shirt yarn that we have to move around with our feet because it's so heavy. Now up here, I've been getting a bit more like in the way of sections. So most of my Stylecrafts there, most of my other like little bits are here. So like the Peter Pan and Hayfield Spirit and things like that. So coming up to the very end, which we never used to be able to walk down. Way! Isn't it exciting? Those are my cushion blanks that I couldn't find for quite some time. But I've been able to put my pop in a box now. Nice big one. And that's the other box of the boho. It wasn't a big one. But it can now change places with that. Because all the stuff that's in there are those little knitting machines. I've sold the big one now, so I will toying with the idea of getting some more. I'm not really sure if I want to get the Addies. I've got the supplier in and everything lined up if I want to get some more. It went pretty quick, so it is a good thing. But I might not get it straight away. I've got to build up some funds first. So as you can see, Gary made these ones out of wood, and he put a fascia on it. so I can paint it blue and it would then match. So I might do that, paint them blue. I don't have to, but he did them the same height and everything, so it wouldn't look odd. Now it does look as if his shelves are on a different level, but they're not. It's just the way this racking has a thing that drops down, and Gary's doesn't drop down. His is slightly higher, but it doesn't matter. They are kind of more or less on a par, and that's all that matters to me, really. And I've got 4 rows, the same as before, but it shares this space. There's some boxes that I used to send for the post office, but these other boxes, that one's got squashed yarn in. Do you remember the squashed yarn project? There's the squashed yarn. That's Aldi yarn in that box there, but they're the Aldi big balls that I haven't put in my shop, but I might do. And then that grey one is my grandmother's tea set and my mum's tea set. So things you can't get rid of. And as we don't have a loft, nowhere to put. So yeah, there are things here, bags, shoes and clothes of mine. But gradually as I go through those boxes, you can see there's clothing and tights and stuff like that in the end. As I go through them and sort them all out, then that will then be space for yarn. But there's still things like the odd records. These are bags and shoes, and there's one full of coats. There's yarn in the bottom one, but it's mine, you know, kind of. Now there's packing cases as well, which, remember the Samsonite? Everybody had those. As soon as we bought them, then they started making ultra light ones because they're too heavy. So it's like, great, thanks very much. So, but they are full of my stuff. Again, as I go through them, that would be great. So getting over here, at the moment, all of my kits and my puzzles, like the was jigs, I don't know what jig was jigs, and Falcon puzzles. There's a cute one called Grandma's Sewing Room, which I really love. Then I've got some crochet kits and my Microsoft Office, really old version, 2010. That's how long ago I bought one. But all of the kits. So somebody asked me if I had any more Simbas, and I don't. I have Timon and Pumbaa, but no, I think I've only got one. I'm not sure. But I've got Frozen, I've got one Harry Potter. But I'm running low on the kits. Might have some of those hooked ones, not sure. The cat box, nowhere to put it, don't have a loft. And the severed head section. And that's got Bestet the cat looking on. I will, Julie, I will measure the windows. That I know you're waiting for me to measure those, but at the moment I can't get to one of them because all of these boxes need to be kind of stacked somewhere. They're all empty at the moment, and all of this, obviously I've got to cover that. I said I was gonna, I don't have to, but it looked nicer. It's not a very functional kind of colour for the garden. It doesn't look as grubby as I remember it looking, so actually I could leave it, but I was going to cover it. We'll see. We'll see. That's not a stain, that's just shadowing. But one thing I do have out here is a lot of these, and they're cookery books. Can't bear to throw them out, but at the same time, never look at them. I've got all different ones as well, you know, like Slimming World, Fattening World, Low Carb, all sorts. Oh, I've got some DVDs, and in there is a yarn winder. You know, it's all functionable stuff, just needs a home. But up until the other day, we couldn't even see this end. And look how fabulous it looks now. I know it's not there. I know it's not, we've still got a long way to go. But those little boxes are going to be a godsend because all that empty space there that I've just been shoving stuff on top of these things will now have proper storage. And I'm really glad about that. It was just a mistake, really. We couldn't find any boxes for Gary, and I thought, oh, I might get some of those for me. The other day, Martin came in and he renewed the fuse box. It worked, the other one. It was fine, but it just looked like a real... Well, it actually looked like a bomb, to be honest with you. Big silver bomb. So that looks much nicer, and he's put his stickers on and everything. But yeah, it's getting there, isn't it? This is another little shelf I can utilise, but I don't really want to make it junky because that's my little Karen box. But these are my yarn, and in there I think I've got my my Special Aran and my Cabaret. I've got quite a lot of the one that's called Ocean. And I don't even know what's in that box because I haven't labelled them. But I will do, and I'll make some more yarn packs up and all sorts of stuff. But I wanted to get it on and just give you a little glimpse that it's now the whole length. And I will sort out all of those. Those are mainly just bags with whips and bits of yarn that need to be put in the cubbies and sorted out. And there's one big humongous box that you can probably see now right there, full of teddy bears. That's all that's in there. It's just a box of bears. Like, they're not all just the same. They're you know, cuddly toys. So maybe if I have some shelving for other bits and pieces, that would be cool. Plus I do need some kind of blinds, because as you can see, it is quite bright when the sun does shine in here. And but yeah, this is where I pack my orders, so that's why all the stuff is there, and this is where the action happens. But I will make my tutorials, if I do them out here, on this area here. So I do need a blind, because the light comes from outside and you can see the mandala, which well, if you didn't see that, you'd see something else. So it does make too much glare, so I will need to do that, because that's the only area that I can do the tutorial on in here. But I can, obviously I've got other places that I can film. Well, all this little stuff over here needs sorting out, because some of this is mine and some of it is stuff I put in, like freebies in people's orders and stuff. And there's a couple of boxes of that. So there you go. That's just my new bin and my new boxes. And but this was really congested the other day. This area here was awful. Now look at it. And back there, that was terrible. And now it's just this bit. So I'm kind of getting there slowly. Like I said before, it doesn't help that we don't have loft space to put things like the Christmas decorations and all of the stuff like your grandma's tea set. You know, it's got to live somewhere or get rid of it. Anyway, that's the little tour. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.